Hi guys. So I guess you are taking mocks. Are you analyzing them? Because analysis is critical. Now you must have heard many people say this. Take some time out and analyze the mocks. But I know many of you are so hard pressed for time. Like you have to take mocks, you have to do sectionals, you have to do some other short tests and then complete your syllabus. You sometimes feel it's not actually worth it. So you skip the analysis part. Please do not do that, because if you spend 2 hours taking a mock, you need another 1.5, 2 hours to analyze it. Otherwise, there's no point. You may as well not take the mocks then. Many of us feel that mock is going to be somehow like, I don't know, a magic wand or something, that it's going to increase your scores just like that. But no, it's not going to happen that way. You need to analyze a mock on these following points, the ones that I'm going to give you, and then with every mock you should see some kind of improvement. Chalo, with every na bhi ho, to after every 2 or 3 mocks you should be able to see at least some improvement in scores. Now I have divided it into 4 parts. Okay, first thing is before. Means before you sit for a mock, you have to decide on a few things. What are those? Decide on a mock taking strategy. Like it can differ for the different sections. For VARC, like I generally say, go for the 2-2-2-2 or 3-3-3-1. This kind of a strategy. This I'm talking about RC. So if there are 4 passages, you can decide that I'm not very scared of RCs. So okay, I'm going to take 2-2-2-2 from every passage, and then maybe 1 or 2 from here and there. Otherwise, if you're very scared of 4 complete passages, you run out of steam, you can just go for this 3-3-3 and 1 easy one from the 4th one. Anyway, be it DILR or QA or VA, you have to decide a strategy. You can change that strategy after every 3 or 4 mocks if you feel that's not working for you, but try to fix something. Set a score target. In the last mock, let's say you fixed a target of 20 to 22 marks and then you scored that. In this mock, stick to that. Maintain consistency for at least 2 to 3 mocks. Do not expect this time I got 20, next mock I'm going to get 22 or 24. No, that's not going to happen. So just maintain consistency for 3-4 mocks, then gradually jump over like by 3 marks or something without even letting your brain know that I'm going to do this. वरना वो बोलेगा कि बहुत ज्यादा जल्दी कर रहा है तू. Fix the number of questions. So see, again, there has to be flexibility. On the D-Day, you don't know if suddenly things go south. You may have to change the number of questions that you had decided. You may have decided this, but then on the D-Day, you may have to do this. So leave that degree of flexibility. But otherwise, if you decide, if you kind of have a fixed thing, जैसे मेरा हमेशा fixed ये है कि भाई if I go and take an RC mock, what am I going to do? My fixed number of questions will be 14 to 15 with great accuracy. Okay, so if you are somebody who is definitely making mistakes, you can fix the number of questions like this, that okay, I'm going to target 19 to 20 questions because by default I end up marking 2 to 3 wrong, 3 to 4 wrong. So okay, I will target 20. Mine is 14 to 15, but 99 to 100% accuracy. So it depends on what kind of a student you are. Anyway, over to the next part. This is after. Once you are done taking the mock, please solve the section once again. This time without the timer. Because sometimes people panic when the timer is on. So now you have to switch off the timer and take the entire, solve it again like the entire thing and see if you're able to solve those questions now, the hard questions now. Okay, understand the RC genre. This I'm just giving an example of VARC ka thing. You may have to do similar things for DILR and QA. Understand the RC genre, philosophy, science and technology. I was very happy with it. Philosophy, okay. Science, oh, I did not like the science passage. So this will help you understand your forte and Achilles heel in RC genre. Make a list of the types of questions, whatever you got in that mock. I would definitely do that. Like there will be 4 for the 16 questions. I will note down this inference question. Inference questions, we got 3. Let's say main idea questions, there were 2. Critical reasoning were 6. This. Critical reasoning critical reasoning claim mentioned, this many. Critical reasoning claim not mentioned, this many. Assumption, this many. So if you make a list of these questions, you will be able to understand what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. The questions that you got wrong, Why did you get them wrong? Read the solution, listen to the video explanation, and then after that, you have to decide if this question was like, something you did not understand. You did not understand the concept, you did not understand the technique, or you were simply frightened. The questions that you got right, how much time did you take? I mean, if you got 3 questions in one passage correct and you took 20 minutes for that passage, do you think it was worth it? No, not at all. So you have to check the time taken for every question. Mocks and sectionals, you get that right. The questions that you dumped, you skipped, was it justified? Did others also skip those questions, or did they solve those questions? Then why? Why are you missing out on this? Okay. And then the question that you skipped, if the others took a lot of time, you can think, okay, maybe I was better off leaving these questions. If the others solved those questions in 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, what is it that I'm not getting? Maybe there is a trick, there is a technique. Maybe these are very doable questions, but I have somehow not gotten around to solving these so far. So karna hai, karke dekh lena hai. All right. The next part is ask yourself later, once you're done analyzing, was time the problem? You have to pinpoint what the problem was. Yaar, bina pinpoint kiya, aap resolve kaise karoge, right? So was it time? Did I run out of time? Did I take like 20 minutes for one RC and then another 15 minutes for one RC? So I was left with no time for VA and I could solve only 2 RCs. Did I solve one DI set in 20-25 minutes and then I panicked? This you have to understand. Did I panic? Do I have exam phobia? If that is my problem, if my heart starts racing when the timer is on, I need to work on that. Did I select the right questions, or I actually don't have that knack for question selection? Then I really need to work on that. Did some questions eat away my time? I selected the wrong questions and I picked guzzlers. There were low-hanging fruits, but then I did not identify them. So I have to spruce up my question selection process. Is my elimination process weak in VARC, especially RC? Did I attend Shabana ma'am's class? Did I pay attention? If not, I need to go back and understand the elimination techniques, which she says is actual Brahmastra. So सबका correct हो रहा है elimination, सबको समझ में आ रहा, मुझे क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? Did I understand the question stems correctly, or did I take time on those question stems? Did I actually get flustered? What is this question asking? I kept looking back and forth and still I couldn't understand. So I need to write down that question, break it down into parts, or maybe take it to my educator and ask what type of question this was. Maybe I need to listen to the video solution once again. Do I need to improve my comprehension? Yes. I mean, this is for VARC, of course. So comprehension, I mean, I saw the RC, I could understand the question stems, but then when I started solving, I marked my answers wrong because I'm not able to understand the words. Maybe I need to improve my vocabulary a little more. Maybe I need to familiarize myself a little more with the RC terms and concepts. What went wrong? You need to pin it down. And the last part, how to improve consistency. Once you're done with the analysis, please chalk out your plan for the next one, right? Because as I said, mocks this should happen like with every mock, you should have a certain graph going up like this. Okay, sometimes the graph can flatten out, that's okay. But then don't let it go down. If for 1 or 2 mocks the graph goes down, you need to actually sit and find out why it dipped in this particular mock, right? So break down the 2 hours mock ka, you have 40 minutes sectional ka into smaller goals and work towards them. What do I mean by this? I'll just give you a simple example. Let's take VARC. 40 minutes, the section is for 40 minutes, okay? So what I do is I divide 40 minutes into 20, 10 and 10. That means 20 minutes. First, I'm going to pick all the low-hanging fruits from the paper. So 6 to 7 correct questions in the first 20 minutes. Then in the next 10 minutes, another 4 questions. And in the next 10 minutes, another 4 questions. This is how I break it down. And I work for these goals. So you must have heard this, of course, that when you break down a big goal into smaller goals, it's very easy. Aap to-do list bhi dekh lo na. If there are big things, you may feel daunted by those things, but if you break it down, okay, let me first do this, let me do this, right? So work towards them. Stick to a certain number of questions and total score for at least 5 to 6 tests. This really works, guys, mind you. So I discussed earlier, fix a certain number of questions. Let's say mine is 14 to 15. Okay, I want to improve. I want to take it over to like 19, 20 or something, but I just can't take it up that way. And I'm not talking about the 14, 15 wala people with accuracy. I'm talking about the people who are at something like 8 to 9 questions in a mock. Right now you are getting these correct, that's fine. But then you can't go to the battlefield taking 8 to 9 questions. So 8 to 9 questions aa raha hai mera, I'm getting one wrong. Okay, I'm going to stick to this and maintain consistency for 5 to 6 tests. Abhi dekhna hai how to maintain that consistency, right? Learn at least one new type of question in every mock. We are coming up with such good mocks and sectionals, and you are encountering one or two new questions. I do the video solutions, even I keep coming across these. I'm like, acha, this breaks the pattern. This wasn't there in those other mocks. So just note down that question, and then that new type of question, if I see again in another mock, I'm going to tackle it and target that new question when you see it. बिल्कुल भी डरने का नहीं है, right? नया question ही तो है, and this is a mock. As I said, take this mock as a trying kind of time, कोशिश करूंगा मैं, अगर हो जाता है तो ठीक है. You can't do this trying thing in the actual CAT paper. Okay, familiarize yourself with question pockets and the question setter's way of thinking. This is again pertaining to VARC, because how the options are set, how the traps are put in, I have been teaching in my classes. So question pockets and question setters way of thinking, the psyche from the other side of the table. If you familiarize yourself with these points, what will happen? You will get an edge. Right, guys? Itna hi hai bas. Mock analysis is important. Take your mock seriously. These are tests. These are kind of copies of the actual thing. So if you work hard on these, and if you take these as the constructive steps, you're going to get the benefits out of these. On the other hand, if you just take them lightly, कि अरे कोई बात नहीं, बिना mocks दिए भी people can actually score. You will score. Nobody is saying that you won't score, but you will settle somewhere at 75, 80, 85 percentile, even let's say 88, 90 percentile. What kind of calls are you going to get? Think about it. सोच के रखना. मिलती हूं मैं बाद में. Take care.
आई होप यू एंजॉयड दिस वीडियो. अब मैं आपको एक शॉकिंग फैक्ट बताता हूँ. ये डेटा जो आपकी स्क्रीन पे शो कर रहा है कि iQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल के 60% व्यूअर्स चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते. सब्सक्राइब ना करने का रीजन ये हो सकता है कि यार एनीवे जो ब्राउज फीड है उस पर तो वीडियो आ ही जाता है, बट सब्सक्राइब क्यों करना चाहिए वो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. iQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल का अगर आप प्लेलिस्ट सेक्शन देखोगे, यहाँ पे आपको बहुत सारी यूजफुल प्लेलिस्ट मिलेंगी. अगर आपका अरिथमेटिक वीक है तो ये आप अरिथमेटिक प्लेलिस्ट यहाँ पे चेकआउट कर सकते हो. ज्योमेट्री वीक है तो ज्योमेट्री प्लेलिस्ट चेकआउट कर सकते हो. एल्जेब्रा में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो एल्जेब्रा प्लेलिस्ट. एंड नॉट जस्ट दिस, अभी करंटली जो प्लेलिस्ट चल रहा है वो बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट 200 क्वेश्चंस का एंड RC 100 वाला प्लेलिस्ट जो शबाना मैम का है. ये सारे जो प्लेलिस्ट के वीडियोस होते हैं इन पे उतने ज्यादा व्यूज नहीं होते, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली जो पढ़ने वाली जनता है वो बहुत कम है. बट अगर आप उनमें से एक हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लो. रेगुलर बेस पे इन प्लेलिस्ट का वीडियो आता रहता है, आपकी फीड में आपको सबसे पहले दिखेगा. एंड नॉट जस्ट दिस, अब जो आने वाला टाइम है उसमें आपका कैट का फॉर्म आएगा, देन डिफरेंट एग्जाम्स के फॉर्म आएंगे, अलग अलग तरीके के नोटिफिकेशन आएंगे. जैसे ही कोई अपडेट कैट 25 से रिलेटेड आता है, सबसे पहले वो अपडेट आपको iQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल पर मिलने वाला है. तो डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल.